Hello guys, what's going on? It's the Eradicator. We've got some exciting news. Chris Roberts, the man himself, is back with a letter from the chairman. I got this when I woke up this morning. I thought I was dreaming. I had to slap myself in the face to figure out whether it was true or not. And yes, it was. It was not even announced in a This Week in Star Citizen article that we have on every Mondays. So yeah, wonderful here. And so what does Chris Roberts have to say after all these long months of silence? The last letter from the chairman was from the end of 2020. You know, the infamous "it is done when it is done" letter, right? Well, this time looks like Chris Roberts is going all the way. We've got a pretty long piece of a pretty big cobblestone here to read. So let's get started. And first, Chris is giving us a little bit of feedback over the past couple of years, especially in 2020, 2021, because of the pandemic. Tells us that it was really hard to keep a certain operational capacity over the past couple of years because of the work from home situation. An internal report even suggested that they were having 6 times more meetings when they were working from home than when they were in actual office. So this obviously made them waste a lot of time. But by the end of last year, they were able to start going back into their offices, starting with Manchester in England, and then Frankfurt in Germany, and then the other studios as well. So that's good news. We also have wonderful news about last year as well, which break all records when it comes to financial records, but also player record as well. He's also giving us some, going over some of the features that were made last year, like dynamic events, the release of Crusader, which is the only gas giant that's explorable in the video game industry, the decrease of 30k errors, and we also learned that 2022 is breaking all records too, with about 2,000 new players coming up each day, joining each day, which is the double as what we had last year. The amount of daily users is also on the rise by 50%. Compared to the last letter that we got by the end of 2020. And this week we had the 2 millionth unique player connecting to Star Citizen as well. By the end of this year, the studio hopes to have 4 million accounts with 1 million unique connections, and they hope to be breaking the $500 million mark for the crowdfunding campaign. Chris is ending this introduction here by telling us that all of this here was made possible thanks to us, the backers. So he's basically thanking us. But that was just the introduction here. We also have some juicy information about the progress regarding server meshing and 4.0. So as many of us have suspected right now, this is pretty much the same. We're pretty much at the same stage as we were for 2.6.3, which so about 8 months of non-release from Cloud Imperium Games between 2.6.3 and 3.0. And the reason is because they were waiting for a technology called persistent entity persistent streaming. Now, this technology does exist right now. They've been working on it for the past 16 months. It took 18 engineers, 3 dedicated QA testers, and 4 producers. But last week, a demo was successfully made by Paul Randall, who was successfully able to go in a game, drop lots of cans on the floor on Aberdeen. The server was shut down, pretty much like when we have a 30k, for example. The server was shut down, and a fresh new server was open. Paul Rendo flew exactly from his starting location to where he was, where he dropped the cans, and the cans were here. This is great news because it is finally opening the way for server meshing. This was the last milestone that server meshing needed in order to be functional, and so that is really going to be starting to open the floodgates when it comes to new releases, technologies, and content, and that is amazing news. We are going to have, of course, very long testing phases, obviously, but it's definitely a major milestone that they've been working on for a very long time, and that is really, really great news. I'm so glad that we are getting finally a word out of this such progress from Chris Roberts himself. This also means that, for example, well, in the future, right? Let's say when you crash on the planet, well, your derelict will still be there until it is finally salvaged, which is why also salvage is going to be very important, because you can imagine that it's going to be, those crash ships will be a valuable source of resources for players, but NPCs alike. And if they're not being salvaged, then there's going to be trash, wrecks everywhere, and it's going to be a complete mess. So that's why also salvage is a very important part for the game, not just from a gameplay perspective, but from a server health perspective as well. This also means that we'll be able to have our own homes that are going to be persisting, right? You'll be able to choose whatever place you want in the verse and make it your home. And on top of that, as I said, this is going to enable eventually server meshing. Now, what this means is that 3.18 is not going to be an easy task. It's not going to be the development of 3.18 is not going to be easy. This was clearly announced in this letter to the chairman. Chris tells us that the PTU phase might last for 3 months. There's going to be plenty of challenges to overcome, including, for example, pollution made by players who throw away their trash pretty much everywhere. What are they going to do, for example, when players are deposing dozens of dead NPCs somewhere? What are these NPCs going to stay there? Are they going to be accumulating? Or what about all those medical gowns that people just get rid of randomly on landing zones or bases, like orbital stations, right? Chris thinks that sanitary agents will have to be created, and that also crime stats will probably be given to players in some locations like New Babbage or Arco for littering. Also, it seems that because of its long development, 3.18 is going to be including the cargo refactor and also salvage, but it will come at the end of the third semester, not at the end of Q2. So that's going to be a delay of 3 months here, which means that at the end of the second quarter, we are not going to get 3.18, but a 3.17.2, which is going to be including new missions, new areas, and new gameplay. We should also be on the lookout for improvement when it comes to Gen 12, as well as perhaps a compatibility for Vulkan by the end of this year. Now, this leads us to 4.0. And just as you can imagine, just like a long testing phase for 3.18 will be required, an equally long testing phase for 4.0 will also be required because of server meshing. Now, at the beginning, it's going to be static server meshing, which consists of having dedicated area that will be handled by servers. For example, in this case, solar systems like the Paro system. The idea for 4.0 is to always bring new content and then polish that content to then eventually get to a beta phase. So probably 4.0, the 4.x cycle will be the last one. We should not be expecting a alpha 5.0, for example. The plan for 4.0 is to open it to EvoCaddy by the end of this year, and then open it to new waves of player throughout the first quarter of 2023 for a planned release by the end of the first quarter 2023, so the end of Q1. Again, this could happen. It may be delayed too. This all depends on the problems that will be encountered. Now, this doesn't mean that this year, 2022, will be lacking content. Actually, no. As Chris said, 3.18 is coming normally by the end of quarter 3, 2018 for this year's Citizencon. We'll talk about Citizencon later. It's going to include the new cargo system, salvage, and also a V2 of bounty hunting, something that a lot of bounty hunters like myself have been waiting for quite some time. Chris then talks a little bit about the development of how his team was created all the way from 2012 until now, and how the studios in Frankfurt and also Manchester are being built. But then comes the time for bad news, and that is really a major setback for me, because it's my favorite time of the year, Citizencon. Just like last year, to make it short, just like last year, we are not going to have a physical Citizencon, but it will be a digital. And on top of that, we are not going to have a keynote presentation. We're just going to be having panels like those that we saw last year, but there will be no demo, no keynote presentation. And that is That's a blast for me. But at the same time, you know, what else are they going to be showing? They've already shown us everything that they want to be that they want to be doing in 4.0. So it's not much of a surprise. The biggest letdown is that once again there will be no news regarding Squadron 42, simply because they have nothing new to share. They want to keep everything under the curtains until they feel ready to be releasing it. So yeah, that's going to be a pretty sad 10th year anniversary this year, I'm afraid. I was hoping for maybe a trailer, but we're not even gonna get that. So there we go. That's pretty much it for this letter from the chairman. Quite exciting indeed. A little bit sad because of Citizencon. Let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what is for you the most exciting part of this letter to the chairman. What is your take or your opinions, your feeling? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you answer the question, of course, you'll get to win a MISC Expanse that we're giving away this month. All you have to do is to subscribe to the channel in public settings and answer the question I just asked. Also, a big shout out to everybody who's been supporting the channel recently, including using the referral code. I can't believe it, but there's been quite a few people out there who have been using the referral code in the description down below. We've passed the 100 referrals mark, which means that I got this Vandal ship, Vandal Glaive, thanks to you guys. It's amazing. I'll be making a video this summer to thank you for this. It's gonna be it's not a priority for the channel, but I'm still going to try to get something of high value and high quality, kind of a surprise program that I have for you guys this summer. So you will know more in a couple of weeks. But anyway, it is planned, and big thank you to you guys. A big thank you to everybody who's been joining via the Join Button membership as well. Some people have used the thanks button as well. Thank you guys as well. That's really awesome too. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, if you support the channel on Patreon or the YouTube Join membership program, you will also have access to exclusive content, like exclusive videos, and access to my private Discord channel, where we have over there another giveaway, which is another MISC Expanse with LTI. All right, guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Geek Citizen, Dr. Forbin, Captain Snake, Eric Oln, and the DJ Dunn. It's the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.